the world woke up to the kind of news no one expected, but everyone secretly dreamed about. Wang and Shen Yue are married. Not rumored, not planned, not speculated. They tied the knot today in one of the most secretive and mind-blowing celebrity weddings of the decade. Fans all over the world are in complete shock and disbelief. But behind this dreamy moment lies a whirlwind of emotion, secrecy, and scenes straight out of a movie. It all started 6 months ago. Shen Yue disappeared from the spotlight for a while. No Instagram updates, no interviews, no press appearances. At the same time, Wang also went silent. His management claimed he was resting between projects, but insiders whispered about something much bigger happening behind the scenes. No one connected the dots. No one even imagined that two of the biggest stars in the industry were secretly planning a life-changing moment while the entire world remained in the dark. What no one knew was that Dylan and Shen Yue were quietly preparing for something more personal, more intimate than any role they had ever played, their real-life love story. It happened in Italy. While attending a luxury fashion event in Florence, Dylan took Shen Yue away from the chaos of paparazzi and flashing cameras. They escaped into the countryside, staying in a vineyard surrounded by silence and stars. On a warm evening, with soft music playing in the background and fairy lights wrapped around ancient olive trees, Dylan dropped to one knee under the Tuscan sky. He did not say much. He did not need to. He simply looked at her with eyes full of everything they had been through, the UPS, the breakups, the silence, the laughter, and the love that had always survived it all. Shen Yue burst into tears before he even opened the ring box. She nodded before he could speak a word. And just like that, they were engaged. They returned to China without a single soul knowing what had happened in that vineyard. No leaked photos. No insider news. Just two hearts preparing for the next chapter. Their wedding was held in a private villa in Hangzhou, a location surrounded by forests and lakes, hidden from the public eye. Guests arrived one by one, all under strict NDA agreements. Every phone was turned off. Every camera was covered. The staff was handpicked and flown in from various locations. Some of the guests included close friends, family, and just a few of their most trusted co-stars. The decorations were soft, elegant, and deeply personal. Instead of red carpets and towering chandeliers, there were cherry blossoms hanging from wooden arches, handwritten notes instead of seating cards, and a piano softly playing the theme song from their breakout drama together. The aisle was lined with white peonies and glowing lanterns. There were no media, no press, and no drama. Just love. When Shen Yue walked down the aisle, time stopped. She wore a custom-designed gown inspired by traditional Chinese embroidery mixed with modern simplicity. Her veil shimmered in the sunlight and fluttered gently behind her like a dream. Her smile was soft, calm, and more real than anything fans had ever seen on screen. Dylan stood at the altar in a classic suit with a jade pin passed down from his grandfather. His hands trembled slightly, but his gaze never wavered. He looked at her like he was seeing the rest of his life walk toward him. When their hands met, it was as if the world finally made sense. The officiant spoke softly about unity, about resilience, about choosing each other over and over again, even when it is hard. There were tears, laughter, and a silence so powerful that even the wind seemed to pause. They exchanged vows written in their own words. Dylan said, "I have loved you in silence and in noise, in public and in private, through storms and through stillness. Today, I choose to love you forever in the loudest way possible." Shen Yue replied, "You were never just a co-star. You were the quiet in my chaos, the steady in my storms. I choose you today, tomorrow, and every day we are blessed to walk this earth together." And just like that, they were pronounced husband and wife. Right after the ceremony, the couple disappeared again. No honeymoon photos. No magazine spreads. Just a single photo posted later by a guest, their hands intertwined, rings shining softly under candlelight, 2 wine glasses in the background, and nothing else. The internet exploded. Wang is married trended globally within minutes. Shen Yue secretly ties the title, Wang and Shen Yue honeymoon in hiding, Part 2 of the secret wedding that shook the world. The world was still reeling. The news that Dylan Wang and Shen Yue had tied the knot sent shockwaves across fan communities, media outlets, and social platforms from Beijing to New York. But just as quickly as the headlines flared up, the couple vanished again. No paparazzi shots. No official photos. No press statement. Not even a thank you post from either of them. And that's when the curiosity became obsession. Where were they now? Why the silence after something so explosive? What was really happening behind the scenes? What no one knew was that the second chapter of the story was already unfolding far from the cameras, far from the noise. Somewhere only they could find peace. They were honeymooning and hiding. It began the morning after the wedding. The sun had barely touched the horizon when a sleek black car pulled up to the back gate of the villa. Shen Yue stepped out first, wrapped in a white coat with her hair tied up in a loose bun. Dylan followed, wearing dark sunglasses and carrying a small overnight bag. There were no goodbyes. No entourage. Just silence, the kind that only two people deeply in love can share. Their destination was not Paris or Bali or Venice. It was a secluded mountain retreat nestled deep in the forests of Yunnan, a place where cell signals died and the world could not follow. There, in a wooden cabin surrounded by pine trees and misty hills, Dylan and Shen Yue finally exhaled. For the first time in years, they were not actors, not idols, not public figures, just husband and wife. They spent their first morning walking barefoot on wet grass, sipping tea on the porch, and reading books they never had time to open before. There was no schedule, no alarms, no interruptions, only the sound of birds, only the quiet crackle of the fireplace, only each other. One night, while rain tapped gently against the window, Dylan brought out a small music box. He wound it once, and a familiar tune began to play, the theme from their first drama together. Shen Yue looked at him, stunned. "You kept this?" she asked softly. He nodded. "Since the day we wrapped that shoot." She smiled, tears pooling quietly in her eyes. That song was where it all began. The beginning of the on-screen chemistry that became real. The late-night script reads that turned into whispered confessions. The accidental touches that lingered too long. The scenes that didn't need acting. It was always real. And now, sitting together by the fire in a quiet corner of the world, it had come full circle. Dylan reached into his pocket and pulled out a folded piece of paper. It was worn and slightly crumpled. "What is that?" Shen Yue asked. "It's the letter I wrote you after we broke up the first time," he said. "The one I never had the courage to send." She stared at him, heart suddenly pounding. He placed it in her hands without another word. She opened it and began to read. Every line hit like thunder. "I let you go because I thought it was right, but not a single day passed where I did not want to come back. I loved you then. I love you now. If I could go back, I would never walk away." Tears slipped down her cheeks. She folded the letter again and tucked it into her journal. "Thank you for waiting," she whispered. He held her hand in silence. But outside their mountain hideaway, the world was growing restless. Fans were demanding a glimpse. Reporters were circling their agencies. Gossip accounts were stirring drama, claiming the marriage was fake, a PR stunt, even a secret contract. Their friends knew better. One of Shen Yue's closest friends posted a cryptic message on her feed. Sometimes the most powerful love stories are the ones never posted online. Still, the pressure was mounting. And then came the unthinkable. A blurry photo surfaced. Someone had spotted Dylan and Shen Yue at a roadside fruit stand in a small town near the mountain retreat. He was carrying oranges. She was wearing his jacket. They looked happy, peaceful, unbothered. That single image broke the internet. The hashtags exploded again. Dylan and Shen Yue spotted together. Married and in love. Real or just a fantasy? The couple's agencies refused to comment. And Dylan and Shen Yue remained silent. But deep in the forest, unaware of the frenzy online, they were making another promise, not to the world, but to each other. One evening, under a starlit sky, Dylan whispered, "Let's never let the world decide."